To welcome everybody to the call. I'm so delighted to be doing these series of calls, Shine Your Mojo Sunday. And the reason why I decided to have these calls on Sunday night is because I know so many of us start to get a little blue at the end of the weekend. Maybe we had some fun or we relaxed and we were home and we were with family and friends, and then we're thinking about the upcoming week. So it's our resting thoughts. It's those thoughts in our subconscious mind that we're thinking about right before we go to bed at the end of the night, right, that actually have influence on our day. And on Sunday night, we're setting the tone for the whole week. So it's really the ideal time to actually focus on the things that you want and really put the energy towards it. And so when you do that, you launch into a week being empowered, being energized. And so your week just starts out, like Monday usually starts out with, so much to do, right? You have so much to do. And so your week just seems to flow a little bit better when you set intention at the beginning of the week. So I'm going to officially introduce myself. I know many of you on the call, but because we always have new callers, I just want to share a little bit of background about myself. I'm Wendy Blum, and I'm a success and strategy coach. And just 6 years ago, my life was very, very, very different than it is today. I felt that my life was really spiraling out of control, and I felt like life was just happening to me, and I did not know how to get off the treadmill. I felt like I was spinning around in circles, and I just didn't know what to do about it. But I did make one decision, and the decision was that I was going to get off the treadmill. I didn't know what I was going to do and how it's going to change my life, but I made that decision that I wasn't just going to keep going in that direction. And from that point on, I started obsessively studying success and success principles and looking for a pattern, a sequence of ways to live your life, steps and tools to use to change and transform your inner world, and then hoping that it would change my outer world. And it did in such a profound way that I have now committed to teaching these tools and techniques to others. So I'm really, really dedicated to living a life that you love with intention, and living your greatest and highest potential, not even knowing what potential I even had or what any of us had even 6 years ago, because I kind of thought that we were born into circumstance, and it's really not that way at all. And so the topic, the theme for tonight and for the upcoming week is the power of believing. And we're just going to focus on one theme for the week, because what happens is we're in overwhelm. There's so much going on. There's so much we have to do. We have so much responsibility. So we're doers. We do. And then if we have a few more things on the list to do, and even if it had to do with living our highest potential or becoming better people, it's another thing to add. Oh no, how are we going to add another discipline into our list of things to do? So we're just going to focus on one thing. And Benjamin Franklin, it was interesting, Benjamin Franklin actually focused on 13 characteristics, and he just focused on one a year. Can you imagine? And we already know the results and the integrity of which he lived his life. So when we focus on one thing at a time, one characteristic at a time, one state of being at a time, then we can then direct all of our energy towards that one focus. And then we start to align with it. And then we start to build the muscle memory. And we start to make some traction and some leeway to living the principles that we're going to be talking about on this call. So what is belief anyway? So I believe that. Now we all know that we say that. We use that phrase, right? Well, that's something that I believe in. Or we say, I don't believe in that at all. I don't believe it. So even when someone speaks and they state something, they make a claim, we have in our subconscious mind that dialogue that goes off, and it either says we believe what they're saying or we don't believe what they're saying. So a belief is really just someone's opinion. And even the phrase fact, even say, well, that's a fact. Really? So who defines, and don't you love when people say the word, like they use the phrase they? Well, they said, right? Well, it's that way because they said. And who's the they? Is that the majority? Is that the majority of people in your life? Is that the majority of people that live in a certain area? Right? So who are the they? And so facts, what are facts anyway? Facts are just opinions too. So 500 years ago, there was a belief that the earth was flat. And if you asked anybody at that time, that would have been a fact, right? Because, and this is one of my favorite sayings, we don't know what we don't know until we know it, right? So we couldn't possibly know that we're wrong until we discover, something else. And so our beliefs are given to us from birth. So we're being imprinted. We're being imprinted first and foremost by our family, right? And then our environment and our culture, the city we live in, the country we live in, the experiences we have, right? All the influences in our lives, and they're layered on top of each other. So all that encoding is going in a really deep sense, being imprinted into our subconscious minds. We even have beliefs around what we can do and what we can't do, and this is a really biggie. There's so many things like we can list off what we can't do. Well, I can't do that, and I can't do that, right? And so we know what we can't do, and then I can do that. We're very reluctant. We hold on to that. We reserve that because we know in our subconscious mind, we know when we say we can do something, we then know we're doing it. And before we say that I can do that, we're mindful that we're ready to do it. So we kind of hold back a little bit. So even though there are some things, if we intellectuals really spend time thinking about it, we actually can do it if we choose to do it. But so often we're conditioned and we're trained because we don't want to do a lot of stuff, right? There's a lot of stuff we don't want to do. So we start when we're really young saying, I can't do that. I can't do that. Even little things, right? Oh, I can't do that. Like for me, it was diving in a swimming pool. Oh, I can't do that because I would get water. And then you give an excuse, right? An excuse goes along right with it because I would get water up my nose. Right? So we're ready. We have a backup plan. We're going to give the excuse, right? We're trained because it's going to let us off the hook. And we have beliefs around everything. Everything in life has an attachment to a belief with it. We have a belief about our health and the healthcare system. We have beliefs around relationships. There are, great, wonderful partners and relationships out there, or, oh, it's really hard to find a good man. We believe that it's really easy or it's really tough. We have the same kind of beliefs around money. Money is everywhere. It's easy to make money or it's really hard to make money. It's really difficult to find a good job. We have beliefs around religion and politics, and we're certainly not going there, right? But we're influenced by our environment. We have beliefs about everything. Everything we see, everything we do, everything we experience. We have two categories going on. It's like we're divided in half. We either believe it on one side of the coin or we don't believe it on the other side. And that's how we're going through our lives. And we're putting things in each category. And they stay in that category until something drastically changes. Now, in my case, I believed that I was a victim. I believed right? That life just happened to you. I believed that there wasn't anything that you could do about it, that that's the way it is. I also believed, and this is a biggie, right, that once you reach a certain age, it's too late. Now, I know some of you on this call have some of those same beliefs, and I know it because there's so many of us that do have those beliefs, that once you reach a certain point in your life, it's too late. Or once you're born into a certain family, that's it. Or once you live in a certain area, that's the way the cookie crumbles. But what I learned 6 years ago all stemmed around believing and changing the belief system. So I had to go in there and do a lot of digging around. There was a lot of work to do, right? Because 45 years of believing one way and then retraining to believe another way is a lot of work. It's a big commitment. But you can change your beliefs. And so there is a universal principle, and it goes like this. And the laws of the universe, whether we believe them or not, so there I'm going to throw this out there, but I truly believe. So we say something like, I'll believe it when I see it, when it's actually the reverse. I will see it when I believe it instead of I will believe it when I see it. When your belief is so strong that it becomes complete and total conviction and certainty, that's when you draw that you desire into your life. And so you think, well, I'm not sure about that. So you're thinking, okay, you have your two columns. I believe that, or I'm not really sure about that. I don't believe that. So you really test out philosophy. So when you're open, if you're on this call, you're open because you just need to be open just a little bit, to have the window cracked, that you experiment with things, that you try new things, that maybe everything you know, because this was a flash of insight. This was a thought that I had 6 years ago. I said, just what if everything I know to be true is the opposite? And I was like, whoa, I can't believe I had that thought. Could that be true? Could everything be the opposite? Well, we don't know what we don't know. So it could be true. And so I started opening. It was just a small little crack that opened up. And so in building your belief muscle, because it's a muscle that you work out and you strengthen, and you test it in small areas in your life. And then as you get the validation, and you will get the validation if you still hold on to your belief. If you hold on to your belief with unwavering certainty, then the validation will become your experience, and then you will strengthen your belief muscle. So you start really small and just testing out the theory. And so how do you start believing when everything and everyone around you is a naysayer, and they doubt and they speak forth, oh, I don't really believe that? So it starts with, first and foremost, changing your surroundings. So number one, 6 years ago, I decided to turn off the TV, completely turn it off. And it was pretty easy to do that because over time there's less and less and less that I actually wanted to watch on TV. And everything on there was so negative, was so heavy. So I turned off the TV. And in its place, well, now I created so much opportunity, so much time, right? So if you have on the TV, and we're not even aware that we just have the TV going on in the background, and just having the TV on in the background, the messages that you hear are being imprinted into your subconscious mind. And so if you're not ready to completely turn off the TV, then just really monitor when you watch TV. I had a client back when I started my coaching practice 6 years ago. I had a client that was having trouble sleeping at night. And what we did was she watched TV. So we actually just moved up. You know, she would still watch TV. She really liked watching TV, but she would turn off the TV by 8 o'clock at night, and she was going to bed at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Just giving that space, right, of time between turning off the TV and going to sleep. So many of us actually fall asleep with the TV on. Oh my goodness, we know what happens at 10:30 or 11 o'clock. The news comes on. So here we're asleep. We don't even realize it's going on in the background. And all of that messaging, all of that negativity, all those beliefs are being imprinted, embedded into our DNA. And so you change your environment a little bit at a time, baby steps at a time. You have an awareness first about your environment. And so is this taking me closer to what I want in my life? Is this positive? Is this enriching? Or is this on the other side of the coin? And then you start to evaluate the people that you spend time with. Because the people around us, if our belief system is such that we don't really truly believe in what we can do, and there's doubt and worry and disbelief in our experience, then chances are pretty good we're around people that they add to it, right? So they're not supporting us. They're not lifting us up. They're the naysayers. They're the energy zappers. They're the complainers. They're the ones that are the broken record over and over and over again. Anyone that talks about the past over and over and over again, when you're building a future and focusing forward in the possibility of your life, in the possibility of having a fabulous, fantastic future, having a week where everything's going to flow together with ease and grace and have everything come together, to have an extraordinary week. So when you're surrounded by people that are downers, and I know I had so many of them around me 6 years ago, right, it pulls you down. So whoever has the most certainty in a room is the person whose energy and vibration dominates. And so you want to surround yourself with people that truly believe in you. If you have something that you want to do, they encourage you. They tell you that you can do it, not the people that tell you you can't, or that doubt, or to ask why, or complain about it. Those people are the people that pull you down. They're robbing you of your energy, the naysayers. So what I'm going to ask you to do right now, and I know you all have a notebook and a piece of paper, pen handy, is to go ahead and make out a list. Draw a line down the middle, and on the left side of the piece of paper, just on the top, you're going to write the word negative people. And then on the right side, positive peeps, your tribe, that's your tribe. And spend a few minutes writing down those people that are the naysayers, the heavy people. They're a drain. Write them in the negative column. You can love them. You can love them. But to acknowledge that they may not be the tribe, the people that you want to spend the most time with. And we're going to talk about how to build some space and some distance and still do it with love and with grace. Still have those people in your life, but set up some boundaries and awareness, right? So moving forward with deliberate intention. So who are those people? You list out the first one. I know we can think of the person that's a heavy drain, the second person, the third person. We have them in our lives. We all do. They might be family members. They might be colleagues, somebody at work. They might be friends. They could be childhood friends. The negative people. And then on the other side are the positive people, the people that always have something kind to say, that uplift you, that empower you, that tell you that you can do it. The people that believe in you, they believe. They support you. They're with you. And as you write down the name of each one of those positive people, focusing on those positive people in your life, so you go through the first and the second and the third, and hopefully they're rolling off. And if they're not, you're creating space and awareness so that you can add to this list. You add to the list with intention so that you set your lens, the focus, so you're looking for these people, that you deliberately do things where these people are going to congregate. So I know 6 years ago, I had to empty my elevator, right? So if you're going up a building and it's got 40 stories, and the elevator stops on the 30th floor, and there's great people to get on, and the elevator's full, they can't get on, right? So I had to empty my elevator. It was time. It was time to create some space and make some room. And yeah, for a while, I spent some time with myself, getting really clear around who I wanted to spend time with. It was a time to get to know me, and to get really, really clear about who I wanted to invest, because it's investing time versus spending time. So now at the bottom of the list, draw a line through the bottom. And now who do you have to just put maybe that little pause button on the negative side to create some space? They can still be there, but if you talk to that person, let's say you talk to them every day, maybe you're going to talk to them every other day or once every third day, right? As you're building your belief muscle, as you're focused on a bright and positive week, month, year, and future, creating some space, making room for someone new and wonderful and fabulous to be in your life. Letting go of somebody or something of a lower vibration so that you can attract something or someone of a higher vibration. And then on the other side, think of who you'd like to add in your life. Maybe it's a friend of a friend or someone at work. You can feel them. They're a great person. That's the type of person you'd like to spend time with, and put them down on your list. Because with intention, creating space, you can reach out. Maybe you make a connection on social media. Maybe you meet that person, for a cup of coffee or a tea. But first you have to deliberately know with intention that you want this person in your life, and you're willing to make the investment and clear the space to make room for them in your lives. Because let's face it, we don't have room for too many people. So on your list, we have maybe room for 3 to 5 relationships. And so if you've got 5 people in the positive category, well, you're in really good shape. But if you don't, you look at what your numbers are. So if you've got 1 or 2 or 3 people on the other side, you want to flip it around. You want to have more people on the positive side and just create a little bit of space. Create a little bit of space. And you're building your belief muscle. And as you're building that muscle, moving forward for all the possibilities of your life, you start small. You start saying, maybe I can take that fabulous trip I've been thinking about. Maybe I can learn a new sport, start playing tennis, learn a new language, take yoga class. Maybe I can do these things. Maybe I can start my own business. Maybe I can start a blog. maybe I can. It just starts with the maybe I can, because that just opens the door. It cracks the window enough to say, maybe I can step out of my comfort zone and do something that I haven't done before. Because when you do something you haven't done before, you start building your belief muscle. Because if you could do something new, then you can do something else new. And you can change your life one small step at a time. So what about if you're having that self-talk, right? So you're having this conversation with yourself, and part of you is saying, I want to do that, and the other part is saying, I'm scared. How do you boost your belief? How do you walk through that fear so that you can strengthen your belief muscle? So you start with the baby steps. You start experimenting with something. So you've got your pen and paper out. Name 10 things that are borderline. 10 things that you're not quite sure that you can do, that you'd like to do, and write them down right now. You're not quite sure. You think you can. You'd like to do it. You'd like to believe that you can do it. You'd like to believe that you can travel by yourself overseas. You'd like to believe that you can do it. So you write down, yes, I am going to take that trip. I am going to go to France. I am going to go to Italy. I'm not going to wait for somebody to do it with me. I want to visit a beautiful garden on the west side of the state. And I'm going to do it myself. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to do it now. I believe that I can do it now. I believe that I'm okay doing it myself. I believe in myself. It is my time. It is my time to shine. I believe that the upcoming week is going to be phenomenal. I believe that I'm going to close that big deal that I'm working on. I believe that I'm going to attract more clients. I believe that my relationship is going to work out. I believe I'm going to attract a wonderful partner. I believe. I believe. What do you believe? What do you want to believe? What are you right there? You're thinking about it. You'd like to believe. You don't know how to believe. You don't know how to step into your power, but you want to believe. I believe that I can be organized. I believe that I can be successful. I believe that I can be healthy. I believe that I can be fit and toned. I believe it. At least I want to believe it. It's in the wanting to believe it. That's where you start. Before stepping into the I am healthy, and I have this fabulous mate and I'm traveling all around the world, it's believing that you can do it. It's stepping into your power saying, you know, I would like to do this, right? That's the first step. I would like it to go this way. I would like to have a phenomenal week. Okay, so on a 1 to 10 for power, you know, that's getting there. Okay, that's higher than a 3. It's higher than a 4. You'd like to believe it. You want to believe it. You step into choosing to believe it and believing it. I know I can create it. I believe that I create my destiny. I believe that I can do anything I set my mind to. I believe I can change my thoughts and change my destiny. I believe that I can change my thoughts and change my reality and change my outcome and change my life and live a phenomenal life. I believe I can do it. And I'll start with baby steps. I'll start with just choosing that I can do it. I'm going to be open. I'm going to be open to change my belief system because maybe everything that I believe to be true isn't true. Maybe there's so much more. Maybe those cliches that I hear, I can be, do, or have anything, maybe it's true. Maybe I need support. Maybe I need to be surrounded by the right people. Maybe I need to be on these calls every Sunday night. Maybe I need to be surrounded by people who tell me that I can do it. Maybe I need to be surrounded by empowerment and inspiration, because we all do. It's like taking a shower. You have to do it every day. It doesn't stick if you just do it every now and then. And it doesn't stick if you just read a book and then your practice is like so-so. It's a total commitment every day. Waking up every day this week until we're together next week, next Sunday, saying the first thing when you get up in the morning is, I am grateful and I believe. I believe in me. I believe I can do and achieve anything that I set my mind to do. I believe in me. I believe the world is good. Okay, so maybe that's a stretch for you. Maybe you're not seeing evidence of that all around. But you get to choose what you want to believe. You get to choose your world. You get to choose what lens you use on your camera. And if you have a choice to believe that everything is just falling apart and everything is negative, there's nothing you can do about it, well, then your experience will be everything is falling apart and there's nothing that you can do about it. But if you choose to believe that in some way you influence the outcome of your life, and then because you influence the outcome of your life, you influence others around you, because believing is contagious. If you're around a lot of people that believe, you start to believe. And so little by little, you chip away at the hardness. You chip away at the old belief system. You chip away at the limiting beliefs, the old beliefs, the beliefs that keep you stuck. That's what keeps us stuck. We're in quicksand with the old belief system. Stepping into the possibility of what can be. Waking up first thing in the morning and saying, I am grateful and I believe. I believe in me. I believe in goodness in the world. Saying those 3 sentences every day this week. Put your hand on your heart. Let's do this together. Everybody put your hand on your heart. I believe. I believe in me. I believe the goodness in the world. I believe that I can do anything that I set my mind to. I believe in me. And take a deep inhale. Inhaling in your highest potential. Imprinting a new belief system. The belief system that you are magnificent. The belief system that you are incredible. And if someone hasn't said that to you lately, then you may want to add somebody to your positive column. Because you are incredible. You are amazing. Every single person has got that part of them in them, even if it's not the most dominant part. The light has just gone dim. And someone needs to light that light back up. And it needs to be us. We have to light our own light. If we're lucky enough to be around others that help us shine our light, then we're very fortunate. But we hold the match. We hold the lighter to light our own flame. And it all starts with believing. Inhaling in that another way is possible. See, 6 years ago, I inhaled the possibility that something else was possible. And here's the deal. If something else is possible or was possible for me, it can't not be possible for everyone else. That's what I know to be true. And that's where I started. That was the loop, that was the thought that I had 6 years ago. If one person can achieve and live a happy, peaceful, prosperous life, then if one person can, then another person can. And it can't be possible that somebody's better than another. It didn't make sense to me. How could somebody be better than another person? It just didn't make sense to me. And it all boils down to starting with the belief system. We're so conditioned to what we believe when we're little. If we were told how magnificent we are from the time we were born, and we were built up over and over and over again, being told that we could do, have, or achieve anything, regardless of our circumstance in life. Yes, we'll have challenges. Yes, we'll have struggles. Yes, there'll be pain. There'll be all of the above, and that is the human experience. But if you believe that you can get through it, then you'll be able to get through it. And so we just want to melt away, right? When we fall apart, when our worlds fall apart, it's so hard to believe. And so we start just small. That's why when we have that team around us, if somebody tells us we're going to be okay, right? When things are really looking doom and gloom, we want somebody to just say things are going to be okay. That's it. Nothing huge. Not that we're going to change the world, just that we're going to be okay. And we're going to be okay. And challenges are part of life. And that resilience muscle, the strength, the courage, we need to have all of that. And the belief that we can be courageous through difficult times, that's what's going to take us there. The belief that no matter what, we can move through it. And so I think of my aunt and uncle, who they both passed away a couple years ago. And they were so optimistic. And they went through so many challenges the later years of their lives. And somehow their belief system was so strong that everything would be okay. And I would watch them as an observer and seeing so much pain. And they still believed. And the quality of their life, they lived to be mid-80s, and the quality of their lives were so rich. And yes, there were challenges and difficulties, but they just believed somehow, some way, in just working that muscle, right? Working that muscle. And so saying, I can do it. I can do it no matter what. Stepping into our power. Setting an intention for the upcoming week, for this week, the second week of May, as we launch into the week, to have a phenomenal week. That this week, we're going to accomplish so much. We're going to handle all of our priorities with ease and grace. Our relationships are going to be strong. We're going to have a lot of great experiences all week long. We're going to make good choices, believing we're going to make good choices all week long. That we're going to attract miracles and blessings into our lives. See, when you believe that you will, when you believe it with conviction. And what that means, believing with conviction, is believing with every cell in your body. It's being congruent. And this is where, we'll kind of believe. So that's not complete certainty. So believing with conviction and being congruent means your thoughts align with your feelings, and your feelings align with your words, and your words align with your actions. Tricky, right? To have thoughts of joy and happiness and peace and prosperity and compassion and success and focus and clarity, and to be playful, to have thoughts of I can do it, to have thoughts of I believe it, I believe in me. Your secret thoughts, the thoughts underneath the thoughts, the buried thoughts, the thoughts deep in the subconscious mind. So when you wake up every day, I believe in me. You imprint first thing in the morning. And so, as you launch into your week, every day, aligning with that part, thinking about the thoughts, being an observer of your thoughts, saying, I believe, writing Post-it notes this week, I believe, putting in your cell phone, I believe, putting in your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar, I believe, right? I believe at the start of every day. I believe on Monday. I believe on Tuesday. I believe on Wednesday. I believe. And saying that mantra throughout the day, I believe. Every hour on the hour, I believe. At the end of the day, before you go to sleep at night, I believe. I believe being your mantra. So you train your thoughts. You condition your thoughts to start thinking those thoughts. I believe, I believe, I believe. And then you take those thoughts and they align with the feelings, because I believing feels so good, right? Whew, that feels good. You feel relaxed when you believe. When you know something's going to happen, no worry, no anxiety. It's a big sigh. It's joyful. You're happy, you're playful because you believe. Your feelings, you feel good. And like attracts like. So the better that you feel each and every day, the more that you're going to attract to feel good about. Attracting more of the same into your experience. And then those feelings, those feeling good feelings, your thoughts are I can believe, I can do it, I believe. And your feelings are, you're feeling happy and filled with joy and at peace and relaxed. And you're present, you're really present. Because you want to inhale in each moment. You don't want to miss anything. You're excited about the week. You're anticipating good things, looking for the miracles and the blessings. And then you align those feelings with words. When you believe and you're feeling good, what's your language? What words do you use? You use high vibrational words. You use power words. You start speaking the language, the feel-good language. You start saying kind things to people when you see them. You smile when you're in conversation. When you feel good, you speak words like amazing and awesome and beautiful, delightful, energetic, fun. You speak high vibrational words, joy, kindness, love, mindfulness. Your language changes, right? You know when someone feels good. You can see the expression on their face and you hear it in their language and the words that they choose to use. When you feel good, you choose words that keep that same vibe going on. You're thankful. You're grateful. You're appreciative. You hum, you sing. The way you walk a little faster. You carry your body so differently. Your breath. You inhale in fully, completely, and exhale out. Releasing and letting go like a big sigh. You feel so good. So your words are aligned with your feelings, which aligns with taking action. When you feel good, you want to take action. You want to do more. You jump out of bed. There's a leap, a skip, a jump in your movement, in your step, in the cadence. You're in rhythm with life. You're ready to do anything. Someone calls and says, do you want to do this? You feel good. You're like, yeah, I want to do that. Do you want to come meet this new person? Yeah. Do you pick up the phone? Do you want to pick up the phone and meet somebody new? Somebody in your positive peeps category? Yeah, because you feel good. So you're taking bold action. When you're not feeling so good, you don't really feel like doing much, right? You really don't feel like taking action. But when you feel really jazzed, oh boy, someone asks you to do something, you're like, yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Count on me, count me in. Being congruent is so key. Aligning thoughts of I believe with feelings of joy and happiness and prosperity, with words that are powerful, that have a high vibration, that attracts more of the same into your experience, and then taking bold action. Taking action is so key. Acting. Because when we take action, then we get different results in our lives. And we're not even aware that our resting thoughts, we're just not sure, right? The more sure we get of ourselves, the more confidence we have. It's so contagious. You want to do more. And you want to go out and you want to help and you want to share and you want to make a difference and you want to influence others. When you believe, you want to share that belief with others. And the sharing and giving, it's a cycle. The more you share and give, the more you want to share and give. And it keeps paying forward. And that's how we shift the consciousness. That's how we change this belief system that it's doom and gloom. The whole thing about 2012 being the end, just maybe it's the end of how things have been because it hasn't worked. And maybe it is the end of something, is the beginning of something else, right? So maybe the belief is that it's the beginning, the new birth, the awakening, the reawakening, the beginning, something new, something better. See, when you have a belief that there's always something better getting ready to happen, when something that you want doesn't happen, you say, that's okay. It's not supposed to happen that way. It wasn't supposed to happen now because something better is going to happen. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right circumstance because something even better is coming my way. And you're in constant flow. And you're expecting something better. And you believe something better. And you know something better is right around the corner. So you keep moving forward. You keep taking action. Because your thoughts are, I believe, I believe, I believe. And your feelings and the vibration that you send out is a good feeling vibration, attracting more into your experience. Using words that attract more, that keep raising your vibration, cycling around to taking more action. So it doesn't matter if something doesn't happen right exactly when you want it to. Letting go of the attachment that it has to happen now because we're so used to, we're the fast food society and culture. And so we want things like now, immediate. Maybe it doesn't work that way. Maybe it works all in due time. Maybe it's all divinely orchestrated. And when you know it's coming, but you don't have a timeline, you're not holding a stopwatch going, well, I believed for a whole month and it didn't happen. So now I'm not believing anymore. Right at the edge, okay, right when you're ready to give up, right when things aren't looking like they're going to happen, when you keep going anyway, that's when they happen. Walt Disney got turned down for his loan dozens of times. Thomas Edison, over and over again, all the failures over and over and over again, never giving up because the loop of thoughts was, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Walt Disney kept saying, I'm going to get the financing. I believe I will. I believe I will. Got turned down? Well, it's not that bank. It's not today. It's tomorrow. It's another bank. I believe I will. I believe I will. So that he was inspired and empowered to keep moving forward. Because the loop, the self-talk going over and over again is, I believe. I believe I can do this. I believe I can do this. So when you have failures, right, it's just information that didn't work at that particular time. But when you keep believing and you keep knowing, you keep moving forward. See, nothing's going to happen when you stop. Right? You go for that interview and you don't get the job. And then you think, you know what? That's it. There's no jobs out there. Maybe even go for 5, 10, 15 job interviews. Well, nope, there's nothing out there. Boy, the economy's bad. No one's hiring. But if you went out every day determined, knowing that the ideal position, career, experience was right there waiting for you, and you were unstoppable, and you were going to get dressed every day, no matter what, at 8 o'clock and go out every single day saying, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. We already know what would happen. So it might be the 21st, it might be the 100th or the 1000th interview before it happened. But it would happen because of the determination. And that's why when your desire is so great, you'll keep going and you keep going and you keep going. So as we launch into this week, this beautiful, magnificent week, the second week of May, inhaling in the magnificence of the week, saying, I can do whatever I set my mind to do this week. It's achievable. I believe I can do it. I know I can do it. I believe I can do it. I know I can do it. Step into that in such a big way. I know that everybody on this call will be stepping into your power. You're going to achieve so many great things this week as you drift off to sleep tonight and every night throughout the week. And you can re-listen to the audio because you'll get this audio and you can listen to it again and again, right before you go to sleep. You listen to something positive, of course, because you're not listening to something negative. So now you have an opportunity to listen to something positive because you've created space. And so right before you go to sleep at night, you fall asleep just saying over and over again, instead of counting sheep, right? Just over and over and over again, I believe, I believe, I believe, I believe. And then start saying it first thing tomorrow morning. So I am going to wish every one of you so much success. I love being with you on these Sunday night calls. We'll be here again next Sunday night at 9 o'clock. You can share the information with your family and friends. I'd like to reach as many people as possible because one by one, we influence and we change the destiny of our lives and the lives of people that we love and care about. And I also want to mention that on my website, which is wendyblum.com, WENDIBLUM, I've got audios such as the power of believing, the power of visualization, the power of choice, vision mapping, audios that you can play in your car or you can listen to in your home when you wake up in the morning or right before you go to sleep at night. So as we say goodnight together, I wish you so, so much success, and I look forward to being